Dear delegates, welcome, willkommen, bienvenue, velkommen. It's our pleasure to bid you welcome here in Copenhagen to the ITUC World Congress.
This week we are gathered from all over the world to celebrate the diversity and culture from all your beautiful countries.
We will now take you on a journey to 5 world regions, to Asia and Pacific, to Africa, to Americas, to Middle East and North Africa, to Europe. So please lean back and enjoy. Let's go.
Asia and Pacific.
Africa.
Americas.
Middle East and North Africa.
Europe.
Copenhagen, Denmark.
Yeah. How you feeling? Ooh, yeah. Ha. Baggy man, it's me. Yeah. Jolly lille rastaman. Smiler, når han hører sin yndlingssang. Det sender afsted om en bungee jump. Han er glædebangling, når han springer rundt. Han får det bedste ud af livet, mand. Kender alle mennesker i hans opgang. Og hver dag efter job går han ned i Netto. Hilser på, han er der bedre. Tro mig, boy. Det er den eneste vej. Smil op til solen, og den smiler til dig. Livet gør dig høj, så tag godt imod det. Gå hjem og pull op, hvis du ikke forstod det. Smil, når du møder mig på dit vej. Hey yo, hey. Har kun et liv, så nyd hvad du har tilbage. Bare giv mig et smil, når du møder mig på dit vej. Hey yo, hey. Gode vibrationer, men jeg går op for det. It's a jolly good life on my reggae bike. And a smile is good if you give it nice. I got one life to live, so I live it right. Not even sure there's a place called paradise. It's for fun day, smiling from Monday to Sunday. Skinny girl eat food if you're hungry. Don't be mad, don't be angry. Model chicks fall off the runway. So, you live better when you smile a lot. And I don't need alcohol in my cup. And I don't smile cause I give the love. I say I smile cause I'm, yeah. Party man, it's me. I do not have my golden body. Hey yo. Så nyd hvad du har tilbage. Bare giv mig et smil, når du møder mig på dit vej. Hey yo, hey. Gode vibrationer, men jeg går op for det.
Hører som målerne de råber, hænderne de måber. Holder det på dans og Danmark, de kan forstå. Spiller i det låne, nyt niveau, så det er jo sjovt nok. Lad hånden gynge med de tak, det er en ordre. Så rocker muffen, når jeg lægger mit flow sådan. Lyt til hjem og skub til taget på det hele. Spiller big stop, og det gør mig hot, ligesom Sean Paul. Ruller ud som danseren af din dansklub. Stærk mand, for ungdommen følger trop. Se køen i miljøet, forstørres op non-stop. Og pigerne, de skrinder bassen, rammer dem som et chok. Lakker stigende hår i danshold.
Bare giv mig et smil, når du møder mig på din vej. Hey yo, hey. Har kun et liv, så nyd hvad du har tilbage. Bare giv mig et smil, når du møder mig på din vej. Hey yo, hey. Gode vibrationer, men jeg går op og fra det. Okay. Comme ça me choque, que les bad man se moquent. Trop de négativité man, c'est pour ça que tu bloques. Prends tes clics et tes clac-clac, va faire du stop. Attends que la vie te croque. Sur mon vélo, un petit sourire car y'en a jamais trop. Voilà people, voilà c'est cadeau. Kaka et Mao, on va danser solo. On fait ça c'est beau. Êtes-vous prêts pour faire la fête à Copenhague? Danser comme ça comme un bon haram. On va faire tout ça toute la nuit, tu sais, Kaka. Hey. Bare giv mig et smil, når du møder mig på din vej. Hey yo. Hey, har kun et liv, så nyd hvad du har tilbage. Bare giv mig et smil, når du møder mig på din vej. Hey, yo, sing, hey, gode vibrationer, men der kan over fra det. Bare giv mig et smil, når du møder mig på din vej. Hey, yo, har kun et liv, så nyd hvad du har tilbage. Bare giv mig et smil, når du møder mig på din vej. Hey, yo, giv mig det der sådan.
Gode vibrationer. Når jeg cruiser ind igennem byen som en fjer, når jeg flyder. Alle barrikader på min vej, jeg nedbryder. Smiler til min verden, letter sindet, så jeg nyder. Livet på godt og ondt, som dagen er lang. For det går rupper bang bang, når jeg synger mit sang. Frisker ind de friske, frisk på at bære flæk. Ingen sure miner, hængemulerier, tudeflæs. Jeg bløde reggae rytmer, så jeg undgår stress. Der er tingene, som de kommer, som de kender mig bedst. Gang i sproget fra de flå, mens jeg flasher tanse. Lille kak, over for det, ayo.
Bare giv mig et smil, når du møder mig på din vej. Hey yo, hey, har kun et liv, så nyd hvad du har tilbage. Bare giv mig et smil, når du møder mig på din vej. Hey yo, gode vibrationer, men kan gå op og fra det. Lad dig forføre af de skyer, når vi synger. Vildt gør dig helt op og kører. Vi tager dig med helt ud af svær, så spiser du aldrig har smidt før. Lad dig forføre af de skyer, når vi synger. Vildt gør dig helt op og kører. Vi tager dig med helt ud af smør, så smil som du aldrig har smilt før. Du ved det!
Hvem er det?
Fuck, det Kaka, det var fun det. ITUC, how you doing? How you feeling? Yeah! Thank you, enjoy!
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage LO President Lisette Risgaard.
Dear Congress, brothers and sisters, friends from all over the world, it's an absolute honor and a privilege to bid you welcome here today. Welcome, welcome to Denmark, welcome to Copenhagen, welcome to the ITUC World Congress. And even though it's cold outside, I bid you warmly welcome. We hope that we have created the best positive frames for a successful Congress. A Congress for all delegates reflecting our global diversity in colors, in languages, in culture. This is our strength as an international trade union movement. In spite of our differences, we stand united across countries with a common goal to create a better world. We are and always will be the global trade union movement. We are the biggest peace movement based on international solidarity and cooperation. I'm convinced that the Congress will deliver strong political messages, messages that provide answers to many of our global challenges, answers that reach out to every place in the world where trade unions fight for workers' rights, for decent work and higher wages. Today marks a beginning of a week where we will discuss politics and strategies with the aim of creating a better world for millions, even billions of people. A week with focus on how to promote peace and equality and democracy, how to regulate economic power, stop tax evasion, and create more equal societies. How to make global shift just and fair to ensure workers' rights. This Congress takes place in a time where populist leaders have been successful in winning elections by playing on people's fear of the future. We say no to populism. We say no to extremism. We say no to attack on democracy. Dear friends, this Congress will deliver stronger answers to people's fear. We say yes to decent work for all. We say yes to social justice. And we say yes to diversity and equality. When we stand united, nothing can beat us. Are we ready? Yeah, okay. I know it's a hard struggle, but we're ready, I know it, because we can make a difference to so many people in the world. So, dear Congress, we're delighted to host you. Welcome to the ITUC World Congress. Welcome to Denmark.
Please welcome on stage Prime Minister of Denmark, Lars Løkke Rasmussen.
Thank you. Mr. President, Mr. Director General, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, welcome to Denmark, welcome to Copenhagen and to the 4th World Congress. It is indeed a pleasure to have you all here. We are honored that you have chosen Denmark as your venue for this very great and important event. Change the rules, you say. I say, why not change the world? What if we were able to make a world where unions and employers work closely together to ensure the best possible balance between rights and responsibilities? What if we could create a society where every citizen had a fair chance to succeed regardless of gender, race, or origin? What if we build a future where education and healthcare were free of charge and where you were entitled to economic and social support if you lost your job, fell ill, or were disabled? What if we could get to the point where parents had 1 year of maternity leave, where we subsidized early childhood education and care, and where elderly were ensured daily care or care home if they could not manage themselves? What if we took concrete actions to ensure that no one is left behind as the train for the future leaves the station? These are not new visions. Some of them were articulated generations ago by visionary people in Denmark who dreamed of a better future. And today, many of their dreams have come true. In the spirit of freedom and fellowship, Denmark has developed one of the most advanced welfare states known in history, and we have done so by building bridges to each other, to the world, to the future. We have created here in Denmark a model which combines a high level of flexibility with regard to hiring and firing, with a high level of social security, the so-called flexicurity model. This model has been developed over many years through close cooperation between the unions, employers, and Danish governments, both center-right and center-left. The essence of the model is to create an environment where it is easy for companies and public institutions to hire and fire and thereby respond to changes in demand and shifts in the economy. But at the same time, and that is important, we are ensuring that those who lose their jobs are taken care of, giving access to training and new skills and motivated to find a new job. The result is a labor market with a very high job turnover, many job openings, low level of long-term unemployment. And despite this limited formal job protection, Danes rank among the most positive in the European Union when they assess their personal job situation. And this has been the case for years. When our textile industry was no longer able to compete internationally, it allowed us to develop a textile design industry. When our shipyards were no longer competitive, it allowed us to retrain and channel our shipbuilders into the windmill industry. This probably also explains why the Danes are so open to globalization and free trade. But I know not everyone agrees. Around the world, many people feel worse off as a result of global dynamics, and their voices has become louder. To them, globalization equals job insecurity. They feel that the price of international trade is so high and too high, and they prefer the opposite. New walls, more isolation, less international cooperation and solidarity. And this development, in my opinion, is a danger to the world. A danger to our ability to handle climate change, fight poverty, ensure clean water, improve healthcare, upgrade education, provide affordable and clean energy, decent work and economic growth. And a danger, a real danger to those who need progress, jobs, and better working conditions the most. Denmark has shown that globalization and job safety can go hand in hand, that free trade and proper working conditions can be combined. So instead of discarding free trade, the right solution is to make it work even better. Make sure that workers' rights and conditions become a part of our agreements in the future. Make long-term reforms to ensure growth and job creation. Ensure, and this is important, a fair distribution of income to avoid division. Make sure that people feel safe and get help if they are in trouble. To do that, you need to follow long-term perspectives instead of just short-term gains. Search for solid solutions instead of simplifying problems. Care about your country without setting it first, but care about your country today, tomorrow, and 20 years from now. And Denmark is blessed with the trade unions that take this perspective. Instead of blocking the roads, the Danish unions search for a path to the future by recognizing that increased productivity is the key to raise real wages. The Danish unions take responsibility by engaging in agreements with the employers' organizations and my government on issues like adult vocational training, lifelong learning, and integration of refugees. You engage in finding new ways of handling the flip side of globalization by engaging actively in what we called the Disruption Council, established by the Danish government. This council consists of trade unions, employer organizations, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and ministers, and it has been discussing issues such as new technologies and business models, digitalization and data ethics, skills and competences, free trade and foreign labor, and frameworks for businesses. But the Council has also been involved in developing new political strategies, for instance, in regard to the platform economy, digital growth, research and innovation, and vocational education. And this has been possible because Denmark has a long tradition of trustful cooperation on labor market issues, and because we all insist on long-term solutions. So, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, the world is changing, but we can change it for the better. History has told us that working together is much better to everyone than widening rifts. The world is not in need of more division, and we are quite the opposite, in need of more unity, better conditions and sustainable solutions across sectors, across countries, across continents. I hope this World Congress will pull things in the right direction, and once again I want to welcome all of you to Denmark. Thank you so much.
Please welcome on stage Lord Mayor of Copenhagen, Frank Jensen.
Dear Prime Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen, dear President Lisette Risgaard, dear friends, as Lord Mayor of Copenhagen, I'm pleased to welcome you all to our city. It is a great honor for us to host the 4th ITUC World Congress and to welcome an international family from more than 160 countries. And what an amazing opening show. So beautiful, so colorful, and so dedicated artists. It was amazing. Thank you so much. As you may have noticed when you arrived Copenhagen, our city is already dressed up for Christmas. I came here a half hour ago directly from City Hall Square, where the lighting, the big Christmas tree, was turned on for the first time this year. The Christmas tree lighting is an old tradition, both in our country and in many others, where young and old gather to see Santa turning on nearly 800 LED lights. And yes, even the Christmas tree is climate friendly in our city. "45% of the electricity lighting the Christmas tree comes from solar or wind turbines." Well, most of it must certainly be wind energy if you know the Danish weather here in December. But who would have thought this was possible 20 years ago? 45% of the electricity comes from wind turbine or solar. Who would have thought it for 10 years ago? How did it get so far so fast? For more than 3 decades, ambitious political goals and massive investments, coupled with skilled and dedicated workforce, have transformed our city Copenhagen from a run-down and polluted city to be the bustling and livable city we see today. It is our goal in Copenhagen to be the world's first carbon-neutral capital city by 2025. We want to show our colleagues in other cities around the globe how to live up to the Paris Agreement without compromising the welfare of our citizens. It is an ambitious goal, but we are well on our way. Even with a city with a very fast-growing population and economic output, we have cut our carbon emissions with 42% since 2005. In Copenhagen, we have chosen to manage this green transformation by investing in collective and smart solutions. Take our collective district heating system as an example. It plays a very fast key role today, heating our homes and supply hot water for all the citizens in 99% of all households in the city, using sustainable energy sources such as wind power, waste biomass, and surplus heat from the power production, eliminating the need of polluting heating from coal and oil and petroleum. Those of us who have lived so long that we can remember, we now know that we can breathe and smell the difference every day in the city. Our citizens reward us by staying and living in the city for the whole life, raising their children here and making Copenhagen a growing city. The green transformation is a global agenda, but to deliver it requires local actions and local leadership. The same is true for the fight for workers' rights and a fair society. Copenhagen is an open city, open for international capital and open for international workers. Many international citizens contribute to our projects when we build and when we transform our city. It is a key priority for me that everyone who works on projects for the city of Copenhagen have fair wages and safe working conditions. We insist that all our suppliers pay the international employees the same as a Danish collective agreement for the same work. Dear friends, it is only fair. We have established a task force to follow up on check that commitment. This year, they uncover the largest case of social dumping in our city's history. 19 international construction workers were hired by a large international company working for the city. But they were severely underpaid. They worked 12-hour shifts without compensation for overtime or any pension, or on the salaries as low as 6 euros per hour, while the union wage is at least 22 euros per hour. We found the workers and made the company pay them the remaining 164,000 euros in compensation. Dear friends, it's only fair. As you can see, the green ambitions and the transformation of Copenhagen go hand in hand with the fight for workers' rights. I'm sure that Copenhagen will be the perfect setting for your conference And I hope that you will have the possibility to take the opportunity to take and explore in the city yourself and see why Copenhagen is famous for our sustainable solutions and our high quality of life. Dear friends, have a great conference in my city, Copenhagen. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for coming to Copenhagen.
Please welcome on stage ITUC President João Antonio Felicio.
Bem-vindos, delegados e participantes do 4º Congresso Mundial da CSI. Saudamos a presença nessa cerimônia de abertura do primeiro-ministro da Dinamarca, Lars Løkke Rasmussen, o prefeito de Copenhague, Frank Jensen, e o diretor-geral da OIT, Guy Ryder. Agradecemos às organizações anfitriãs dinamarquesas por nos convidarem para a maravilhosa cidade de Copenhague e por todo o enorme esforço que tem feito para tornar esse evento histórico o sucesso que certamente será. Um agradecimento especial à presidente da LO Dinamarca, Lisette Risgaard. O Congresso se reúne num momento de múltiplos e enormes desafios à justiça social e aos trabalhadores. Um mundo em que as adversidades se apresentam fortemente contra nós, que produzimos a riqueza em um sistema econômico global, que concentra a riqueza na mão de poucos, negam às famílias a chance de prosperar e impede os países de se desenvolverem. Neste mundo novo, a crise econômica é reforçada e intensificada pelo recrudescimento da ameaça terrorista, incluindo o terrorismo de Estado, além de guerras estimuladas e patrocinadas por grandes potências. Nesta crise econômica, as políticas suicidas de austeridade combinadas com o modelo de desenvolvimento, em que os saltos tecnológicos e os ganhos de produtividade não são revertidos em melhorias e condições de vida para a imensa maioria da população, produziram um persistente cenário global de baixo crescimento econômico, desemprego em alta, salários em queda, aumento da desigualdade, redução de investimentos sociais e nos serviços públicos. Esse processo resulta e, ao mesmo tempo, se apoia num aumento expressivo do fluxo de capitais, principalmente de caráter especulativo, numa dinâmica que aprofunda as graves desigualdades entre os países do Norte e do Sul, minando as bases de um necessário novo ciclo de desenvolvimento sustentável na economia mundial. O atual sistema capitalista não apenas impõe relações de produção que potencializam a exploração do trabalhador ao limite do suportável, mas também tenta fazê-lo acreditar que seus direitos não passam de uma miragem, que foram ultrapassados pelo tempo. Assim, não tem mais razão de combater. Para que organizar ou participar da luta? O único caminho para a construção de alternativas coletivas, para a superação do atraso e a construção de um novo tempo. A CSI deve cumprir o papel de grande articuladora nas lutas e campanhas internacionais contra o neoliberalismo e também contra o fascismo, por um novo modelo de sociedade onde a democracia, a solidariedade e os direitos dos cidadãos sejam prioridades. Que as ações sindicais mundiais sejam tão importantes quanto a diplomacia e a pressão sobre os organismos internacionais. Desde a sua criação, há 12 anos, a CSI cresceu em número e força. Precisamos continuar crescendo e construindo o poder dos trabalhadores para enfrentar esses desafios. Precisamos deixar de ser meros espectadores de disputas políticas pelo poder, assumindo um papel protagonista na defesa dos interesses gerais da classe trabalhadora. Precisamos disputar a consciência política da classe que representamos, que está permanentemente submetida a uma doutrinação de setores mais ricos da sociedade por meio de seus representantes na imprensa, nos parlamentos e governos. Nosso movimento está baseado nas fundações que os trabalhadores começaram a construir há 150 anos. Há aqueles que gostariam de nos ver desaparecer, dar liberdade ao capital, e há quem preveja até a nossa morte. Bem, eles devem saber que estamos aqui para ficar. Em todo o mundo, as pessoas estão lutando por seus direitos e estamos aqui para defendê-los. Nosso movimento, o momento atual da economia mundial, dominado pelo sistema financeiro, não se caracteriza pela expansão de direitos sociais e trabalhistas, como foi no pós-guerra em muitos países com o fortalecimento do estado de bem-estar social. Vivemos hoje uma regressão geral desses direitos e da democracia, além da desregulamentação da economia e uma ruptura corporativa cada vez mais agressiva dos Estados nacionais e dos organismos internacionais pelo capital internacional através das corporações multinacionais. No Brasil, após um golpe de Estado que destituiu uma presidente legitimamente eleita, foi imposta uma agenda repleta de retrocessos. O golpe não parou por aí. Precisaram colocar na cadeia o candidato que estava em primeiro lugar em todas as pesquisas eleitorais. Prender o Lula sem que ele tenha praticado um crime. Prender o Lula por ele representar um modelo de distribuição de renda e de riquezas. Prenderam o Lula, mas não prenderam o projeto de transformação social. A América Latina vive um dos momentos mais difíceis da sua história, com a eleição de vários governos ultraliberais, reacionários e de extrema-direita. Tenho certeza que em todos os países onde a democracia está sendo ameaçada, há lutadores e lutadoras que seguem na defesa deste projeto de transformação e justiça social. A defesa deste projeto implica numa atuação sindical que deve ir além da pauta corporativa e deve incorporar um novo desenho de governança mundial com a valorização dos espaços multilaterais e implementações de políticas públicas que visem a redução das desigualdades sociais e econômicas. A exploração do capital, além das especificidades geracionais, de gênero e de raça, perpassa por toda a classe trabalhadora. O que dizer quando direitos humanos como saúde e segurança no trabalho, férias, licença maternidade e representação sindical são negados em nome de uma suposta modernização que só exacerba a concentração de renda? O que dizer quando o desespero leva 45 mil trabalhadores a colocarem fim às suas vidas todos os anos por estarem desempregados, conforme estudo da Universidade de Zurique? Quando 1 em cada 5 suicídios, ou seja, 20% do total, é resultado direto da demissão. Quando a desregulamentação transformou o mundo do trabalho numa verdadeira arena de gladiadores, para que sobreviva apenas o mais forte, aquele que teve mais benefícios e oportunidades para servir o capital. O capital é tão perverso que incorpora, aceitando pacificamente, o repugnante racismo que ainda perdura no mercado de trabalho e nas demais relações sociais. Um sistema econômico em que a cor da pele determina um brutal rebaixamento salarial e das condições de vida. Além disso, o combate à desigualdade de gênero é um dos desafios mais urgentes do movimento sindical. As mulheres têm menor probabilidade do que os homens de encontrar emprego e esses empregos são cada vez mais precários. Já o desemprego juvenil atingiu em 2016, segundo a OIT, o patamar de 13%. Esse setor exige uma atenção especial do movimento sindical em todo o mundo. A OIT foi fundada em 1919, após o horror da Primeira Guerra Mundial, para garantir justiça social. A Declaração de Filadélfia, que foi adotada em 1944, perto do final da Segunda Guerra Mundial, foi criada também para impedir que o mundo entrasse em guerra. E hoje, o momento atual que vivemos requer um novo contrato social. Com mais de 1.000 sindicalistas juntos nessa semana, temos um encontro único. Teremos debates, talvez alguns desacordos, e tomaremos decisões que guiarão a CSI pelos próximos 4 anos. Também temos a oportunidade de nos reunir informalmente, aprender uns com os outros, mostrar nossos sucessos e construir relacionamentos e parcerias dentro da grande família sindical que é a CSI. É preciso consolidar ainda mais na CSI as demandas de cada país através de suas centrais e que essas encaminhem efetivamente as decisões tomadas. Não podemos ter medo de debater mudanças na gestão da CSI, necessárias para que todos se sintam participantes do processo de construção interna, das políticas e das ações. Somos um movimento diversificado e democrático, com organizações de diferentes tradições e origens, de países em todos os níveis de desenvolvimento, mas com um compromisso comum com a causa sindical, expressa nos princípios fundadores da CSI. E daí vem a nossa força, a força da solidariedade internacional, a força da unidade. Nesse congresso, temos duas candidatas, a companheira Sharon e a companheira Suzana. A existência de duas candidatas reforça nosso compromisso com o respeito à diversidade e o fortalecimento da democracia interna. E ainda sobre a unidade, vemos aqui na Dinamarca, com a fusão da LO e da FTF, a formação de uma nova organização unificada que se tornará maior no início do próximo ano. Temos muito trabalho a fazer nessa semana e precisamos do envolvimento total e ativo de cada delegação para superarmos o programa ambicioso e sairmos desse congresso ainda mais fortes, mais unificados e prontos para enfrentar os muitos desafios globais que já estamos enfrentando e os novos desafios que certamente virão. Debater um novo internacionalismo sindical é um desafio para a CSI e centrais sindicais filiadas. Defender as conquistas da classe trabalhadora, ameaçadas pela ofensiva conservadora, articulada com a defesa de uma concepção vigorosa de democracia e a construção de uma alternativa internacional progressista, serão as principais tarefas do sindicalismo nos próximos anos. Tarefas que exigem que as entidades sindicais internacionais se consolidem cada vez mais como sindicatos globais. Precisaremos fundir sindicatos, reduzir a fragmentação do movimento sindical e aumentar a nossa representatividade, a fim de ampliar a nossa capacidade de intervenção e força política. Estamos diante de um processo de atomização da presença física, o que vai requerer uma comunicação cada vez mais eficaz. A CSI é um importante instrumento nessa luta. Reconheço e agradeço as contribuições de todos durante o meu mandato como presidente da CSI e desejo à próxima direção da CSI e ao próximo presidente muita energia para seguir fortalecendo a CSI e a defesa da justiça social no mundo todo. Viva a CSI!
Please welcome on stage ILO Director General Guy Ryder.
ITUC President, dear Zhao, General Secretary, dear Sharon, Prime Minister, Lord Mayor, delegates and guests, dear friends. Let me begin by bringing to you all the fraternal greetings of the International Labour Organization, and particular thanks to our Danish hosts. It's always wonderful to be in this city of Copenhagen and in Denmark, where we find so much to enjoy, but also to admire and to learn from. Colleagues, the founding programme of the ITUC describes the International Labour Organization, and I quote, as its global reference point. And in the same way, the ITUC has been, from its beginnings, an indispensable actor in the International Labour Organization. So it's not really surprising, is it, that the report on activities that the General Secretary has presented to this Congress refers to the ILO literally on every page. Not surprising either that the draft Congress statement highlights priorities shared by the ILO, not least when it comes to the future of work. So, colleagues, what can we say about the achievements and the challenges that we have shared and that we continue to share? The ITUC Constitution is a commitment to change the world, nothing less, and the Prime Minister has encouraged us to be equal to that commitment. It's a commitment to bring in fair distribution of wealth and income, decent work for all, universal respect for fundamental rights, equality, and to safeguard peace. And this is no idle dream, because it is backed by the strength of the world's democratic and independent trade unions, united as never before in history. And the fact is that within months of the ITUC's founding back in 2006, the world did change, but not in line with those ambitions and not through trade union action. It was, in fact, the excesses of global finance that triggered the global crash and turned upside down the lives of millions of working people who were made to pay the price of a crisis that they had not caused and to bail out those who had caused it. And frankly, colleagues, the world has not been the same since then. It's growing more slowly. It's not able to generate jobs as it previously did. And alarmingly, the growth of real wages around the world last year at 0.8% was the lowest since 2008. And so that means that globally we are still on a path to greater inequality and to social injustice, with everything that that implies. And the consequence of long-standing discontent with this prolonged failure to provide real answers to people's basic hopes and fears is that we have entered into a period of growing anger and resentment in popular opinion and of brutalism in policy making around the world. And if there's a single task, just one, that we should set ourselves today and this week, it is to channel this anger, to catalyse the progressive changes that the ITUC exists to promote. And there is surely great opportunity for that. But the fact is that right now, the direction of change is in the opposite direction. Righteous anger, including and particularly that of working people, is being appropriated by political forces which are diametrically opposed to the values and the objectives of this Confederation and this Congress. It's being directed to fuel nationalism, xenophobia, isolationism, climate change denial, and against migrants and refugees, and to close down spaces of dialogue and dissent, and to erode toleration of those who are different or those who think differently. Colleagues, history shows that organised labour is inevitably a victim of this type of politics, but more than this, that organised labour is the very best defence against it. And so the dangers of this moment of anger and of a sleepwalk to creeping authoritarianism and intolerance are real. And from an ILO perspective, we feel it particularly in the rising threat to international cooperation and the multilateral system. The ITUC, let's remember, is constitutionally committed to unwavering support for the United Nations system. And that support has never been so sorely needed. International and regional cooperation is under attack. It's accused of being ineffective, or still worse, of being a space run by and for unaccountable elites, or worse still, of being an illegitimate interference in the exercise of national sovereignty, an enemy of the people. Colleagues, this Congress has given itself the task of changing the rules, and with good reason, because today those rules do not deliver for working people. But let's be clear that changing the rules is not the same thing as getting rid of the rules. Just imagine the consequences of a total dismantling of the rules-based system of international cooperation, particularly when that system includes the international labour standards that we need to operate effectively as the definition of workers' rights and the rules of the game of the global economy. Without the rule of law, nationally and internationally, it's the law of the jungle that prevails. And in that case, inevitably, working people will be easy prey for stronger and unscrupulous predators in the economic food chain. With our own centenary just 1 month away, the ILO is placing the challenges of the future of work to the fore. It's doing so with the conviction that the future of work is not already decided for us. It is what we are determined and what we are capable of making it. Transformative, disruptive change is upon us, and it will not be stopped. But it can, and it must be guided and shaped so that it brings us what we want: decent work for all, equality, social justice. And just as this is not impossible, it's not automatic either. And I trust that when the report of the ILO's own Global Commission on the Future of Work, co-chaired by President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa and Prime Minister Stefan Löfven of Sweden, is published next month, it will help to point us all in the right directions. And in the light of what I've said this afternoon, and others as well, it is surely crucial that together we offer working people a credible prospect of a future in which they and their families can grow, prosper in freedom and dignity. And if we fail in that, then I think we have real reason to fear that others peddling false hopes and simple solutions in which trade unions have no part are likely to prevail. The ILO, with its unique assets, labour standards and tripartism, stands ready to meet its responsibilities, and we know that they are heavy. But I'm under no illusion. Our influence and our chances of success depend enormously on the strength of the international trade union movement, that is to say, on you. And that is why this Congress here in Copenhagen is so important. Colleagues, the creation 100 years ago of the ILO, the world organization to negotiate and to supervise international labor law, was described by Franklin D. Roosevelt later on as a wild dream. A wilder dream still, because it was being done through the combined participation of workers, employers, and governments. But I think that the creation of the ITUC, by contrast, was no wild dream. It was rather the right and the logical thing to do. But uniting the global forces of independent and democratic trade unionism was and is no small endeavour, because we know that such unity has never been the natural default position of world trade unionism. When tried in the past, it didn't last. So that unity has to be cared for, has to be nourished, it has to be jealously preserved by all of you. And that is why, among all of the many calls on the solidarity of ITUC affiliates today, I believe that your first duty of solidarity is to one another, to ensure that this unitary, pluralist organization continues to speak as one. And yes, you'll have important debates ahead, difficult decisions to take, but perhaps the most important decision can be taken already right now. And that is that whatever else happens, the ITUC will come out of this Copenhagen Congress stronger, more united, and more determined than ever before. Many people depend on that, many people beyond this room. So good luck, and I thank you for your attention.